What is going on, and welcome back. So in the last video you guys saw we got the STI running again after a year. It has been down, it has been sad, it has been hurting my soul, but I am happy again that this thing works. I got to the shop a couple hours ago. I spent like 2 hours cleaning everything, putting tools away, picking things up, putting things in bins, pulling parts out of the STI, you know, the whole kit and caboodle, cleaning up the whole back area back there. So we got a lot we still have to do to this car. I made the stupid mistake of trying to fit up a body kit on this car before I was ready to. It was a terrible, dumb decision. Now I got holes in the rear quarter panels. We'll get that fixed. I'm not too concerned about it right now. But I do want to start focusing on the interior of the car, get the front bumper cut fitted today, maybe dial in the Haltech a little bit more. I need to go drive this thing around a little bit to get just some load on the engine. I just don't like letting it sit and idle. I also don't like starting it and let it just sit for like a short period of time. So once it cools down a little bit this afternoon, we'll go drive around the complex a little bit more. A lot of people pointed out that the rear brake lights weren't working. I know they were unplugged, got that plugged back in, everything's working again. So woo! Let me give you a rundown of what we got going on. Let's get to work. So instead of trying to fix this rear door with all these holes that I drilled in it, dumb enough, Justin has paint matched rear doors, so I think I'm just gonna go to Spokane this week and go pick them up. We're gonna pick up some side skirts too. So for now we're gonna do what we can. So we're gonna start on the interior of getting the brain box area all reassembled. I'd like to get this thing vacuumed out, wiped down, and cleaned out. Got all my keys hung up over here. So we need to shut power off to the Haltech before we unplug it, just to make sure nothing shorts. So I got the interior of this thing cleaned up pretty well for now. I don't have any of my detailing stuff. I just kind of wiped everything down, vacuumed it out a little bit, but the ECU and everything are all tucked back up in here in the glove box. The fuse box is mounted down here. It's just kind of where I decided on putting it because there's not a lot of like space down here where I can put it and keep full interior, because that's one thing I want to do, just keep the full interior. So now we're going to jump over to getting the front bumper fitted, but I don't want to work out in the sun. So we're going to pull the STI out, turn it around, pull it back in. So that way I'm just kind of working up here in the shade and whatnot in my little nook. So for a minute. careful! Something fell! Oh, it was one of old Blue's connecting rods that fell down. It's coming back for vengeance. So we have this 2018 and up front bumper conversion that we're doing on my 2017 STI. Now the big thing with bumpers, for me at least, is the intercooler piping. It's just so big that it doesn't want to fit around this backside. Now, prior on my last one, I had fog lights and everything, so I had to cut up a lot more of that, and it was kind of a little more like, it kind of sucks, but it is what it is. This one, all I have to do is be able to retain the retaining tabs that go along for the bezels, and we should be solid here. So let me go back and forth, start test fitting this bumper up. Once we get the bumper to fit, I'll show you guys how to wire in the lights, because on the 2017 models, you have the turn signal down in the bumpers and not in the headlights. I gotta make them work. So the turn signals will be down on the bumpers instead of them just being daytime running lights. These are gonna be my blinkers. I don't think they'll flash amber. I think they'll flash white, but that's better than nothing. So let's get to, actually, these are switchback, so they might actually be amber. I don't know, they come with all this wiring, but I don't want to use all that wiring, so I'm just gonna wire them in myself. So let's get the bumper fitted first. So honestly, I don't think it's much. Okay, so it's like this whole area here on the inside of each, so. Still hitting on this side a lot. So same spot as before, dude. We try to cut this as tight as we can, but to be honest, there's just not a lot of room to cut it tight. So down here we're looking fine. It's just always the same freaking spot up here, dude. So what I actually might have to do is just never have a bumper on this product. This side fits, but it bulges bad. There's no freaking way. Big bumper problem. So I've got the bumper to fit, but it's bulging right here. So what I'm thinking I might do is flatten the pipe right there, and then the same thing on this side. You guys can see exactly where it's hitting right there. Just kind of take a Sharpie and mark on it, get something flat, put it against the pipe, and just tap it in a little bit. You know, just to flatten it out so it's not right up on the bumper. It's only right there. It's like one point in the intercooler piping, and I don't think I'll see any performance changes. So, you know, I'm actually gonna give it a test on this side. I'm gonna try to flatten that real quick. Golden! We could probably do it in one more spot, but I think that'll work. Okay, so. It's technically in. If I could secure it down, it's technically in. So I think I got something figured out. Like I said, this pipe is going to get redone. It comes out too far this way, so we need this to just pie directly up and then kind of have this pie inward also and move this whole bend in, so that way the bumper will fit. But for now, this light tapping does work. I'm gonna get material ordered for this, so that way Dustin and I can do this next week. This side I shouldn't need to tap in or anything like that. I'm trying something here. I don't know if it's gonna work. I panel bonded these two pieces together, and they're being held together with zip ties, so I don't know a lot about Bodywork. I don't know if this is going to work. I scuffed up the areas, cleaned it with acetone. The zip ties are keeping pressure for the panel bond, so I'm gonna let that sit for a couple of hours. If it does work, I'll do this side also. The bumper is freshly painted, so I'm not worried about paint or anything like that. It's just, I don't know, man. I don't know what I'm doing. I think it'll work. I think it'll work. I'm not too stressed about it. But I need to get this guy turned back around. these are switchbacks, but we're not going to be using them as switchbacks. So we've got 3 wires here, red, white, and no, we've got 4. Red, white, black, yellow. We just want this to flash amber. I don't care for sequential, so I don't know which of these wires we're going to be tapping into yet. We're only going to be needing 2, which is going to be black and or ground in one of these. Now on the stock harness, we've got 4 wires coming off, but there's only 3 actually coming off the connector, and this is what we care about right now. There's white, blue, and black. White is 12 volt for the fog light, black is ground, blue is turn signal. So turn signal is the one we're going to be targeting, so we're going to hook up blue to whatever one of these flashes that thing amber. That's all we're shooting for. If this doesn't work, then we'll use the whole wiring kit that came with this stuff, but for now I want to try to make this work the simplest way possible by already utilizing the wires on the car. So I got the turn signals on both sides working. It's pretty neat. They are sequential and they are wired directly into the stock chassis. Got our hazards on right now. You can see turn signal, you can see turn signal, all the fun stuff there. If we come up here, turn signal and turn signal. So I ended up just tapping into the stock wire harness and just added a Deutsch connector on both sides. So that way I'm not using, I made these like fun little adapters. And, you know, they worked, and then I asked myself, why am I making an adapter when I can wire it directly to the chassis? I also ended up panel bonding in both of these fog light covers. So this one, I just did, so it's gonna have to sit and set for a while, but I just have it zip tied in place. This side has been curing for probably 3 hours now. It's got 24-hour cure time. Those are never going to come out. Although it is kind of cool on this side, you can see the intercooler piping through both vents, but you can also see like the wastegates and everything through here. It's kind of neat. Like I said, we're going to redo this intercooler pipe a little bit to make it sit more inward, but I'm really glad I was able to get these fog light covers in. These are the JDM bezels with the turn signals from WRX Daily, so I'm very pleased with it. I want this car to kind of resemble OEM Plus, and the OEM bezels, just, they do it for me. They tickle my fancy. There's my crotch. So we are 1 day in the future now, and it seems like the panel bond has worked. These things will not come off. I like these JDM ones because they're actual vents. I mean, I don't know what they'll vent, maybe the intercooler piping, but they are permanently asphyxiated to this bumper now. They will not come off. So the panel bond held up well. I made sure to mask off all the areas around this bezel so that way it didn't get on the paint. But dude, it's not going anywhere. It flexes with the bumper now instead of popping out. So there are zip ties and panel bond holding that thing in. So pretty happy with that. I ordered the OEM STI lip for this bumper, so that should probably be here in a couple of days. I got the OEM splash guards coming, also the JDM ones. We're picking up new doors, side skirts, front fenders, and for the body kit, I decided I'm gonna do flares versus a full body kit, so I'm gonna pick up the ML24 flares. We'll use those. I think it'll be a little bit easier to make a fender exit happen with flares versus a wide body. So for right now, I wanna get this, this temporary fender that I have put back on, get it cut, and then just kind of tack on a little bit more exhaust, so that way I can at least have a body on the car, because the whole goal right now is trying to get the STI streetable, and it needs a full body to be streetable with obviously turn signals, headlights, safety equipment, and whatnot. So let's get this fender back on. we got our fender installed. We got this lightly trimmed. I'm gonna have to pull the fender off to actually clean everything up behind here. The plate is temporarily put on here just so that way we get everything figured out. We've got our downpipe ready to come off of the car, and then Dustin from Fab and Dab actually just came over and helped me figure out the tip. He also let me borrow his 3.5-inch purge plugs for this, so we can go ahead and get this tip on, and that will go roughly right there and go there. And we have this so it's sticking out a little bit past the fender this time, so it doesn't completely chooch the fender like it did last time. So he gave me a whole bunch of pointers on welding these up. I feel pretty comfortable welding steel, so I'm gonna weld this piece up first and then grab the downpipe and then just weld this piece to the downpipe. This will probably take me a little while because we have such a thin piece right there. I'm gonna take my time, go slow. He told me to turn it down to about 60, 65 amps and just take my time with this. So let's get to welding. Our downpipe is all made up here. You'll see a lot of pie cuts in this section. It was just a weird angle to get from the turbo to up here while avoiding the tire. So I don't even know how I'm gonna get this in. I may have to take the fender back off to get the downpipe on. So if I do, it's not a big deal. So let's get this guy on, check fitment on here. Fender off. Maybe not. All right, maybe not. Oh, there we go. It's lined up in the V-band now. Not bad, Jimmy. I gotta adjust the fender a little bit, but I think we're gonna be solid. Headlight goes on, then bumper. I wanna see this thing complete. Fuck yeah, we can still run a headlight in this car. There we go. Dude, it just looks like a stock STI minus the exhaust coming out of the fender. Aside from this, you would have no idea. And that is the goal here, is to have no idea. Hang on, let me close this door. Like, my favorite part about this is that it's a normal Subaru. Like, it's got a hood, it's got a bumper, it's got both headlights. Some people were questioning if I could put a headlight in. I got both headlights. A couple panel gaps, as you can see here. The bumper to hood is a little bit tight on the driver's side compared to the passenger side over here, and the panel gaps are a lot tighter on that side compared to this side. So probably just loosen the hood, shift the hood a little bit, but I'm not gonna worry about fixing any panel gaps or anything like that up until this thing is ready to go rip. Suppose I can put this piece back in for now and just slide in and go pop. I love it. I freaking love it. I can't wait till I'm so pumped to go pick up these body panels, get some flares on here, pull out all the negative camber that we have in the car from last time, get some proper flares, fill these holes, repaint this quarter, get the JDM spats on, get the OEM STI lip on, get OEM STI side skirts on. This thing is going to look fucking great, and it's gonna sound great, and it's gonna perform great, and it's gonna be great. We're gonna attempt to do a quick drive around the building. I enabled wheel speed off of the speed sensors. I wanna see if adding that DCCD controller that we did changed anything, to see if I can still use these stock wheel speed sensors or if I need to order another GPS module. I just didn't want to buy the GPS module up until I verified the wheel speed sensors do or do not work, so we're gonna find out. some reason, man, right there, it just keeps leaking. It's whatever. I'm just gonna buy a steel line. But that worked flawlessly, and our bumper stayed on the whole time, so that's a win. I'm big pumped. The WRX is warming up right now. The STI is almost legal. We've got headlights, turn signals, a front end. The two big things that make this car illegal to drive on the road right now is the fact that it's the registration's out of date, and the fact that the tires stick out past the fenders, which, yes, they will pull me over. The engine building, that was a lot of work. Don't get me wrong, that was a lot of work that we did all in one video, but we already had everything to do it, and I already knew how to do it all. This other little stuff is some stuff I gotta figure out still, like wheel speed. It wasn't reading off the stock sensors, even though I told the CAN system to pull that information from there. It just wasn't reading, so I think I'm gonna have to go back to a GPS. I'll probably continue to play with the wheel speed sensor idea a little bit more, because if I can get wheel speed sensors to work, I can get traction control to work. And if I can have traction control to work, I can have a whole bunch of other cool little features in the Haltech. So I just gotta figure it out. I mean, yes, I could wire in, I could get an IO expander and wire in my own wheel speed sensors to the car, or just wire those wheel speed sensors to a CAN expander. Having the front end and everything on here, dude, it warms my heart. It looks like a stock STI with the exception of the exhaust coming out of the fender, and your boy loves it. So I got something cool at the house for the FD that I want to show you guys, and we'll close this video out. So let me enjoy a nice relaxing drive home to some Alicia Keys in the WRX, and let me show you some RX-7 goodness. Magically teleported back to the house. So I got in the freaking Tomei, dude. We got a freaking, hold up. Freaking look at the size of the muffler on this for the RX-7, it's wild. Anyways, that's all I got for you guys on this one. So I think I'm gonna be taking a trip out to Spokane tomorrow to go pick up those parts for Blue. If not, we're gonna be back over at the shop, getting the car aligned, getting the rest of the electric power steering done. The wiring gets dropped off tomorrow. The electrical connectors get dropped off tomorrow. So that way we can get the power steering done. Once the power steering is working and I verified it's all good, I'm gonna go get the car re-registered and start driving it around to get some miles on that thing. So soon the intake manifolds have shipped out for it, both upper and lower. The excessive lower and the turbulone upper I think ships tomorrow, but it's whatever. So if you guys liked the video, you know what to do. Go ahead and hit that like button, turn it black, blue, green, yellow, purple, silver sign, whatever color it turns to you. And if you're not already subscribed to the channel and you want to be, put it in one of these corners. No idea which one quite yet, but with that, I will catch you guys in the next one. So peace out, homies.